Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that great big subscribe button down below. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content as we go along. If you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this wonderful book, Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. I'm also the founder of asexualise.com and the founder of Asexualise Academy. You can check my book out down in the description below. So thank you for just joining me now. It's really much later than scheduled live stream. I usually do it every night, but I didn't have a chance to do it Saturday night, so I'm doing it very early in the early hours of Sunday morning, meaning like it's before 1 a.m. here. So I had a bit of a personal thing that I had to deal with, and I couldn't let it wait, so it had to be finished there and then. So it took longer. It went over midnight. Anyway, I'm here with this fantastic video. This is going to be an in-depth one, so buckle up, put your seatbelt on. It's going to be a long one, but it's really, really super important that I do this video. I typed all the answer out to a viewer's comment, and I had it all written down, and for some reason, I did it on my iPad, it's just completely vanished. Like, I gave really, really good advice in the comment. I was quite, like shocked to how the advice just came out, and I was like, oh, it's all disappeared. And I was going to read a lot of it out to you, and now I haven't got that, so I'm going to have to try and remember quite a lot of what I wrote from memory, which is going to be quite difficult. But it's a really, really, really interesting video tonight, because tonight I am talking about a viewer case study, as I want to call it. So a viewer left a comment on one of my videos, and I think it's really interesting because it's coming from a sexual point of view, heterosexual point of view, not from the point of view of the asexual. But however, there is complications between them and their asexual partner. So I'm hoping that this video reaches some people who have got a heterosexual partner or asexual partner, or who've got a friend and they're struggling with being in a relationship with an asexual, and obviously the asexual's having a hard time because of that as well. So I'm hoping this video is really going to help you out if you if this is what's causing you issues. So I'm going to read the viewer's comment out. I have to switch my screen over, which you won't be able to see, but I can see it. So basically, you can still see me and I'm looking at the screen. So in this video, this is a video that I did on July the 28th, 2017. I published it. It's not a live stream. It's a video which is part of Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month. So if you didn't know, along with this book, when I launched it in July, July 2017, actually, I did something and launched something called Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month, hashtag APAM, APAM. And basically, Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month is when I was literally doing a video every day of the month. And it was all about my book. So I would take a chapter or a few different parts of chapters from my book, and I'd go through an asexual topic to give you help and advice from people in my book. And that happens every July now, but obviously I do a live stream every day now usually, and so I don't know if I'm going to do a live stream every day for it from my book, most likely, or I could just do videos. But I think I'll start doing live streams this year. Continue with them, because it means you can ask me questions about the book and obviously about the people, answers and stuff. So I think it's really, really good opportunity. But who knows, I might do a few videos as well. But I think giving you the opportunity to ask any questions to me direct in a live stream is just quite incredible, isn't it? Because it's really hard to get a hold of people a lot of the time to ask them in-depth questions about asexuality, whereas I'm here all the time for you to ask. I usually here every night for you. So on this title of this video, can a sexual with asexual relationship work, and is it fair? This is one of the questions I ask in my Asexual Perspectives book. So it's really, it's really important, that you do pick up a copy of this book if you haven't got it already. It asks every question under the sun you can possibly think about love, life and sex. So, do you know what I mean? How difficult is it for you to be asexual in a sexualized world? It goes through the positives of asexuality as well, you know. What's your deepest fear, concern, or worry about being asexual? So there's tons of stuff in there. So anyway, really important that I read this out to you. So I had so can a sexual with asexual relationship work, and is it fair? It's one of the questions I ask in my Asexual Perspectives book. Now, this question can cause a lot of upset with asexuals because they seem to think I'm implying that it's not fair on the sexual. But that's not the question asked. The question says, can a sexual and asexual relationship work, and is it fair? It doesn't say, is it fair just from the sexual or just from the asexual point of view? You know, it's not saying, you know, because society has this thing where, oh, if asexual's not having sex with their sexual partner, it means it's unfair. You know, because of the way I've asked the question, people are automatically assuming like I'm sort of on the side of the sexual, which is simply not true, because I don't think it's fair for an asexual to have to put up with sex in a relationship where it's not what they really want, and they feel they have to do that in order to get love, which is kind of what this video is all about. So this was a comment left on this video, and this person put, I'm asexual and been in a relationship for 12 years. Been lots of trust and emotional issues from both sides. I love her to bits and have 2 kids. Sex feels like rape sometimes because I don't see her emotions towards my love. Depression to the max, near death a lot, which is really, really sad, you know? Basically, never kiss, would be very lucky to even get a random cuddle and kiss. I've been honest and said if I knew at the start, I would have stayed best friends. Hurts, but the truth. I feel things compromise isn't real love. Confusion for years has slowly killed me inside. I'm looking at transgender pills to stop my erections and sexual feelings, but not transgender. So I would say A sticks with A. In other words, an asexual should always stick with an asexual. Now, I think this is really important to read this out because I think it's important to get, you know, people who are sexual, heterosexual, their views. You know, although we're asexual, this is an asexual channel. I think it's important we understand that sexuals do have their own needs as well. As much as I don't like talking about sexual needs as much, because obviously everything in the world is highly sexualized, and it gets to be far too much. Like, your mind numbs out at the end of it. I mean, I don't watch TV. I don't tend to watch films with any nudity in. I hate sex. I'm not interested in that. I just get fed up with it. I kind of live in my own different world where I'm pretty much sex free. Do you know what I mean? Even in visualization, you know, like, oh, I have to say something disgusting though. One of the guys that friend requested me recently, he decided to stick a porn picture of a dick and a vagina in my Facebook Messenger. So I unfriended him, blocked him, and reported the conversation. That's absolutely disgusting. And I told him I'm asexual and don't like sex. And I told him, because he asked me what I did. And you can see from my profile that I've got a book and stuff. So yeah, that was horrible. Absolutely totally disrespectful. So it's not on, okay? So this video, you know, this video is going to go into a bit of depth. So basically, let's start from the situation this person's in, right? So this is a sexual person, been in a relationship for 12 years. And, you know, when when the person says sex feels like rape sometimes because I don't see her emotions towards my love. If any sexual person's listening to this, any heterosexual person, any sexual person, and you feel you're feeling like you're raping your partner because, you know, basically they're emotionless, why on earth are you still having sex with them? Why? Because if you think it feels like rape and you're the one, you know, that's actually having sex with the asexual, when clearly they don't enjoy it, why aren't you stopping that? Because think of the other person. Think of the actual asexual, what it feels like to them. If you feel it's rape, then feel like what it feels like to the asexual has to have that experience when they clearly don't want it. If an asexual doesn't show their emotions towards your love, and you're having sex with them, and they don't even want to kiss or cuddle you anymore, it's for a damn good reason, right? Because if an asexual person does not want sex, and kissing and cuddling usually leads to sex, they're not going to want to kiss and cuddle you, are they? It's just going to drive a wedge between you and the asexual person. So if you are having sex with an asexual, and the asexual clearly is emotionless, isn't enjoying it, for heaven's sake, stop, right? Yes, you've been in a relationship for 12 years, right? She has obviously put this person's needs before her own a lot of the time because they're still having sex, right? Yet she clearly is not interested in the sex because she's showing no emotions during sex because it's just probably like going through the motions because she doesn't really want to do it. So if you're in a situation, stop having the sex with a person. And if you cannot live without sex and the relationship is monogamous, then you have to make an important decision to let that person go for their own sake, don't you? The sad thing is you have to. But there are other things you can do if you're sexual to satisfy your sexual need without splitting up. But basically, what I want to say is if you're in this situation where you feel like you're raping your partner because they are asexual, they don't want sex with you, they're emotionless, they're just not interested, they're going through the motions, for heaven's sake, 1 is stop. 2 is communicate with them, talk to them. And when you talk to them, do so in a very caring, kind, non-threatening way. Actually ask them what they like and don't like physically with you. Because my guess is with this person, this sexual guy who's with this asexual woman, my guess is the woman just doesn't want to do the kissing and cuddling because she knows it'll lead to sex, and because she hates sex and she hates him having sex with her. She's just doing it because to please him because she technically loves him and doesn't want him going off with anyone else. Then she's not going to want to kiss and cuddle him because she's feeling like she's doing stuff that she don't really want to do. She's just doing it to please him. This is basically the scenario as I see it, but I don't know these individuals and I'm not a counsellor. I recommend couple counselling, obviously, because I'm not a qualified counsellor or therapist. I really recommend couple counselling, or you could get some relationship coaching. But, it's really important that you do get some help in this situation. But the only thing is, a lot of counsellors, they don't really understand asexuality. And if you get a bad one, it could seem like the counsellor was ganging up between you as a sexual person and the asexual, which wouldn't be fair to them. So you have to really research and make sure that it's a counsellor or therapist that's going to hear you both out and not just side with you as a sexual person, which is because obviously society is highly sexualized. Everyone thinks it's normal to have sex, and anyone who doesn't like that is something wrong with them, which there isn't true. It's just their orientation's different. So first of all, you stop the rape, stop the sex against their will, which is technically like rape, isn't it? And that's why it feels like it. You stop doing that. You just stop it. If you're hurting your partner, you emotionally, you stop it. It's as simple as that. And then you have a decision. Then you have some discussion and decision to make, don't you? So you discuss basically between you. You have to ask. In this case, I'd recommend that you ask. You sit down with your asexual partner. You talk to them in a loving, kind, caring way. You try and get back to being best friends, because you obviously, this person said, if I've been honest, I've been honest and said I knew at the start I would have stayed best friends, right? First of all, just because, with or without sex, you're still in a relationship. I have to make that clear. So if the sex does stop, it doesn't mean to say you're not in a relationship, because there's times when you don't have sex, but you are. And asexuals can love without sex, right? And being honest and saying, if you knew from the start I would have just stayed friends, hurts. But the truth, it's like saying to an asexual person, well, without sex, we're just best friends. And the only reason I'm with you now is because I'm having sex with you. So we're more than best friends and we're married, if you know what I mean, So it's kind of like saying love and a relationship without sex is not right, which it is right. It's fine. So, and I understand though, in terms of different compatibility, this is why it's so important that any person you get into a relationship with, you discuss all these physical compatibility needs before you get into a relationship with them, because when it says, I've been honest and said, if I knew at the start I would have stayed best friends, hurts. But the truth, these people could have saved themselves a lot of time and energy and emotional upset and pain if they'd both, just talked about their physical needs in a relationship, and obviously if more asexuals were honest themselves, because some asexuals, they hide it from their partner because they don't want their partner knowing, which is not fair on the sexual person, I do have to say. Unless your life's in danger, then you should be, talking about it openly and honestly. It's really important. So this person who's this, if you're a sexual person, you need to sit down and you're having an honest, open discussion with your partner about what physical stuff they do like. You have to establish this, because if you're not going to have sex anymore because you don't want to hurt your partner, you don't want to make it feel like they're raping them, you don't want any of that stuff, which is not nice for either of you, then you have to establish what physical stuff you can do with your partner, if anything. What boundaries are there, what standards, what's the expectations. So as a sexual person for your partner, sit down and have a nice conversation with them. Think about them being your best friend again. Go back to that. You should always remain best friends, even in a relationship. And I think asexuals can do a much better job at that because the sex is not involved. But having said that, just get back to being best friends. You obviously were best friends before you got into a relationship, so go back to that, because that's going to be the foundation of your new relationship without sex. It's like starting over again. And then sit down and have a discussion with the asexual and say, what physical stuff do you like and don't you like in a relationship? There might be some compromise, but overall you want to know, and like you want to know stuff about where they like to be touched, when they like to be touched. Do they like doing sexual acts but just penetration repulsed, or do they not like any touching or any sexual acts whatsoever? You have to establish all the stuff. So this person says, I'm looking at transgender pills to stop my erections and sexual feelings, but not transgender. So if you're a sexual person, right, okay, just because someone's asexual doesn't mean to say they're uncomfortable with your erections. They might be fine with it. I'm okay if a guy has an erection as long as he doesn't expect me to act on that erection, because I'm not going to have sex with him, right? And for me, I don't like, I'm not gonna touch him down below, or I'm not gonna masturbate him, and I'm not gonna be having oral sex with him, but those are some of the other options. Like if you're sexual and your partner's asexual, you can ask them in conversation, what physical stuff do you like and not like? What physical stuff, kissing, touching, caressing, with and without clothes, and what do you like? And just don't be judgmental. Just be kind, caring, considerate, and talk to them like a best friend would. And then you can get into all the ins and outs of, you can even ask your partner, what do you think, if I have an erection, how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel uncomfortable, bad? I mean, I don't care if a guy's with me and that happens. It don't bother me. I don't mind if I feel that when I'm kissing him. It's just natural for him, so long as he doesn't expect me to act on that. Do you know what I mean? Like, in one way it's flattering that he's so attracted to me, but as long as he don't expect me to act on it, so I have no problem with the guy having that. It don't bother me. But then I've been in sexual relationships for half my life, so I'm kind of used to it. But but some asexuals are uncomfortable about that. They don't want to feel that, anywhere near them. They don't want to see that. But guys, sexuals can't really help that. It's something that just is kind of natural. And I think even some asexuals can have stuff like that happen, because they've still got a full working tackle down there. So it's important you have these conversations anyway, and say to your partner, like ask them with, about masturbation. Do they like mutual masturbation? Do they like want to masturbate you, or you masturbate them back, or or do they, if you masturbate, would they be offended if you did it in front of them? I know some people like that. I don't personally like that. I don't want to see a guy doing that. And they might be offended you've even asked to do it in front of them. But I guess some people might like that. But you can masturbate yourself. A lot of sexuals that are in relationships with asexuals, that's what they do. They masturbate themselves to relieve that arousal. And obviously there's other things you can do, like you can use like a vibrator and attach that up, so you can obviously you can still explode your load, as it were, using a vibrator without your partner being involved in that and having to see that or do anything about it. Like one of the heterosexual guys I dated in 2017, he was like, oh, I just stick a vibrator on every night. You know, he's like, he said, oh, don't start masturbating because it's really bad for you. It's very addictive. And he's like, he uses a vibrator to masturbate himself. But, if it's a monogamous relationship and you're not gonna go around seeing other partners and get your sex elsewhere, you need to be thinking about yourself. So you need to masturbate or use a vibrator or some other sex toy or something. You know what I mean? So there's those things that you can do, but obviously you can ask your partner about oral sex, about masturbating you, about all these type of things, to see if they like it, want to do it, or don't want to do it. And maybe you can work out ways to be passionate without penetration. Like if you said to your partner, had a conversation on this and said, okay, if sex was completely off the table, you can even do this before you take sex off the table, but if it feels like you're raping them, I'd take sex off the table straight away immediately. Why would you want your partner to go through that? Why? If you love them, you just wouldn't. And so basically, you can sit down with them and ask them their needs. Ask them, if I didn't have sex with you, if I stopped having sex with you now, and you and me could do anything in the bedroom, any sexual stuff, acts, kissing, cuddling, what would you like to do with me? What's your fantasy? What's your goals? What do you love to do? What touching do you like? And just take sex out of the equation. Like, what is it you'd like to do? Because obviously with this sexual person, they feel like they're starved of kisses and cuddles as well. I am guessing that's because the asexual feels like they don't want to do that because it will lead on to sex. So they just don't want it. So they're in fight, flight, or freeze mode. Like when they're having sex, it sounds like they're in probably like a freeze or fright mode, because they're not showing their emotions during it. And it feels like the sexual feels like he's raping her, which you've got to stop it. Do you know what I mean? You really got to stop that. Just cut it. Just don't do it anymore. And yes, that brings up the problem of what you're going to do. But like I said, you can masturbate, use sex toys, vibrators, or, you might have to split up. It might be the best thing for you to do. I know it sounds horrible, but it's setting you free to be yourselves. No one wants to spend years of their life going that. And when it says depression to the max near death a lot, I mean, what sort of life is that? You've got 2 kids. How's it affecting your kids? You might love them to bits, but you should try all these other things first. Stop the sex, have all these conversations, find out ways you can satisfy your own physical sexual needs without it hurting your partner, either emotionally or physically. And try and work together to see if you can rekindle that touching, feeling, caressing, cuddling, and kissing experience, but without the sex. You as a sexual person, you have to be a strong person for the asexual. If you're a guy, you want to protect your woman, right? If you're a good guy, of course you want to protect her because you don't want her to get harmed. You don't want to see in pain, upset, not emotionally, not physically, not even spiritually. You want to protect your woman, right? So you want to be able to take the pain away of the worry of sex and just literally focus on all the other things. Yes, as a guy, it's going to be very, very tough for you because you'll be wanting to have sex all the time if you're highly sexual appetite, But the thing is, you've got to train yourself. It's like a challenge to you. Just think of it as like a challenge that you've got to live without sex, and you've got to like do loads of kissing, touching, but never have sex with that person. It's off the table. See it as a challenge, a good challenge. How can you, as a really strong, masterful guy, protect your woman from having sex because she doesn't like it, and stop, you want to stop her pain, and how can you like make her feel so great with all the kissing, the cuddle, the caressing that she wants without the sex? That is your job. That is your duty. That is your obligation to do that for her. That is what you should be wanting for her, because no one wants to be in this type of relationship. Clearly you're getting upset, they're in pain, no one's enjoying this relationship anymore. There's no point staying together for the sake of love when no one's enjoying the relationship. You have to go through these things first. Like I said, there's couple counseling as well you can go to, but make sure they're asexuality friendly though. Don't want them ganging up on the asexual because that wouldn't be fair. But let's try all this stuff. Try just talking to the asexual person. Sit down and just take sex completely off the table. Like I will do a lot of stuff with my clothes on without sex if I know sex is definitely off the table. But if you put me in a situation where sex was even remotely pressured onto me, I would be running a mile because I'm not interested in that, and I wouldn't want to kiss and cuddle a guy that was like that, because I would think, God, it would just lead to sex, and I don't want that with them. I don't want to lead them on, and I don't want, to feel uncomfortable. And I can't trust them, because even when you're kissing and cuddling intimately as an asexual person, you give a heck of a lot of trust to a sexual person. I mean, when I've been dating sexual people, it's a heck of a lot of trust, but I know I'm a very strong girl. I mean, I've got big muscles on me. I can look after myself, and I'm a very strong person. I'm very boundary orientated, and you can tell by my tone of voice that I can just use my tone of voice and say, do not go there, They're in trouble if they overcross my boundaries, which they usually don't do. And if they did, I would tell them about it so they put it right. And if they didn't put it right, then I'd have to leave the situation, because it's so important that you maintain a healthy, happy relationship and balance. You do not want to be in a situation where you're coming to any harm yourself or either of you, but physically or mentally or spiritually, so I think I've given you all the advice I can as a sexual person, but you really have to you have to think of the asexual person. Their sexual orientation is the lack of sexual attraction. If they don't find you sexually attractive, they like other qualities in you. But if the sex is just always the thing that you like the most, and you think that's the only way you can emotionally connect with your woman, it's not going to work out. Or the asexual person, it's not going to work out. You have to understand that when someone's doing something against their will, or they don't really want to do just for the sake of it, it makes them so uncomfortable. It's just not pleasant, and there's no way you want to get close to someone who's making you feel that way. So please, if you're a sexual person, I understand that you have sexual needs. I understand you have desires of your own. But for heaven's sake, if you're doing something like that with a sexual person who's not enjoying it, that's not love. That's just torturing you both, to be quite honest. And, it's good if you find out before you're married. I realise these people might not have even found out that the wife's asexual, sorry, and the wife's asexual and the husband's not. I mean, you as a couple might not have discovered that she's asexual till you're in the relationship. And I do know, I've got a friend, and he got married, and after marriage the sex stopped after the kids, and he didn't know his wife was asexual either, and he's stuck now in a relationship that he don't have any sex, and he said that the person doesn't kiss or cuddle him. I don't know if it's because they feel it might lead to sex. I don't know with their situations. It might just be that you've got that you've got an aromantic asexual person who lacks romantic attraction as well as sexual attraction, in which case they might not be that interested in kissing and cuddling you anyway. But if your relationship started off as kissing, cuddling and all that type of thing, intimacy, and then it's just as it's progressed with the sex doesn't feel good to the asexual person, then it will be that the sex that's causing them to be distant from you because they're trying to do something for you they don't really want to do. So you have to assess why that person's not giving you physical affection anymore, and tons of it. If they were doing like all the kissing, cuddling before, but all over a sudden not, there's obviously clearly something wrong there that needs to be chatted about and discussed. And it's no good going round and round in circles. If you're going to be unhappy, you may as well be with other people and free yourself, because it's not healthy for kids either. But if you do love her to bits, like you say you do, then stop having sex with her when it feels like rape, and try and reconnect with her emotions again, which means sitting down and having a chat and talking to her like a best friend would. Because in a relationship, you shouldn't have stopped being best friends. You should be the bestest friends ever. If you can't be best friends with the one you love, there's something critically wrong. Anyway, I hope this video has been useful, helpful, insightful for you in some way. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Please post below in the comments. As always, please give this video a thumbs up if you like any of the content, if you found it useful, helpful, or insightful in any way, shape, or form. I realise there's been a lot of sexual language in tonight's show, but I think it's very imperative that I do try and help sexuals to understand asexuals as well, so that asexuals can, have a bit of relief for them, for their plight if they are having sex when they don't really want to. Someone needs to speak out about this, but try and help sexuals understand asexuals more, and try and help the relationships better. It's really important. I want everyone to be happy and to love and to be loved. I want people to be able to work things out and problems and issues as they arise. You know, it's very difficult to find a good match. It's very difficult to find the right partner, but I believe everyone's got someone in their life, and sometimes two people get on really well and they're great for each other, and then things happen, it just changes, you know, and it's nobody's fault, it just happens. But you know, there are things you can do to try and help this situation out, as I've said. Anyway, if you found this video useful, helpful, insightful anyway, please give this video a thumbs up. Please share it if you think you've got a sexual friend or asexual friend's got a heterosexual partner or sexual partner who may benefit from this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that great big bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live and I'll post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like I said, if we go along. Till next time, embrace your quirky and each other's, and I will see you on the next video or live stream. So take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.